Hello, this is Miss Ellis again, and I'm making another video. And I'm going to read Game Changers about Serena and Venus Williams, two superstar athletes and tennis players. I have a lot of tennis players in my family, so I really like to read about Venus and Serena. I'm also going to show you some chickens. Here are some chickens coming up behind me. That black chicken actually needs a name. There's some other nice chickens on the bucket of water getting their drink. And then behind me, I have my two boy goats who are really happy I'm here. They think if I'm here, that means they're going to get extra snacks. But they already got some snacks today. So they are just hoping against hope that I'm here giving them extra snacks. And behind me are some roosters making a lot of noise. They're going to make this challenging for me to read. All right, Larry. That was Larry. Larry was named by Jalen. Jalen, shout out to you if you happen to be watching this now. That is your rooster that you named. You can see behind me a lot of equipment for a construction company. That might be kind of fun to talk about at some point. Emptying my pocket. Okay, Game Changers. The story of Venus and Serena Williams. They are girls from California, like a lot of you are from California. Venus and Serena Williams, V and Mika, two peas in a pod, best friends. Everybody who saw them knew that they were as close as two sisters could be. They grew up in the shadows of each other. First, Venus... All right, AJ. First, Venus was born in June of 1980. Little sister Serena came right behind her in September of 1981. Whatever Venus did, Serena followed. So when their father took Venus to the tennis court to begin lessons, Serena begged to go along. And here's a picture of the two little girls going off to play tennis. Have any of you ever played tennis? If you are interested in tennis, maybe we could play someday. I could come up with some extra rackets and I could show you how to play. 6 days a week, they rose before the sun. Sleepy-eyed, the girls rolled out of the bed they shared, climbed into their dad's rundown VW bus, and squeezed between their three older sisters, rackets, and a shopping cart filled with tennis balls and brooms. Between the early morning dark and the first light of day, the girls stretched and warmed up, then swept the courts clean of broken glass and trash before their first practice of the day began. My husband likes tennis in the same way as these girls' dad likes tennis, and he believes, especially for girls, that if you practice and become pretty decent at tennis, there's a really good chance of getting a scholarship to college for tennis. So if you're interested in tennis, let me know. Maybe I can help you out. Neighborhood folks laughed at a father, Richard, with tennis ambitions and a Compton address. But Richard's dreams soared far beyond the rough and tumble streets outside of Los Angeles County, California. From the beginning, tennis was a family affair. First with the oldest three sisters, Yetund, Lindrea, and Isha. When they lost interest, the younger girls stepped in. Richard practiced with Venus on one court, while Orasene, their mother, hit with Serena on the other to the cheers of their sisters on the sidelines. And there they all are. That's a lot of sisters playing tennis. It wasn't long before their father's dreams became their own. Venus and Serena didn't have time for friends or sleepovers or trips to the mall. Tennis filled their days. Side by side, they whispered into the night. Do you really think I can do it? They'd ask each other. Do you really think I have a chance? Sound asleep, tennis filled their dreams. If I didn't play tennis, I don't know where I'd be, Venus told everyone. So tennis was their dream. They threw footballs to improve their serves, tossed rackets into the air to build strength, and chased secondhand tennis balls so flat they learned to run faster to hit their low bounce. Not having expensive training equipment and professional coaches meant they had to make up their own drills. Off the courts, they worked to improve their speed with track and their flexibility with ballet. When gunshots ran out in the distance, Richard reminded them, never mind the noise, just play. Hi, Jacob. I'm reading this book. I can't play till I'm done. You can listen if you want, or you can go see the chickens. I have a visitor here watching, Jacob, my neighbor. But when shots from the neighborhood's rival gangs whizzed near the courts, the girls quickly learned to drop their rackets and lie still until the shooting stopped. The public courts of East Compton Park, with grass poking through cracks in the cement and chain link nets, looked nothing like the courts they saw on television where their favorites John McEnroe, Monica Seles, and Pete Sampras played. The chickens are being really loud. By the time Venus was 4, she could hit 500 tennis balls at every practice. By the time she was 7, she began playing in junior tournaments. Playing on Compton's public courts.
Did you just say Juna?
Not Juna, junior. Junior means like little.
Oh.
Playing on Compton's public courts kept the girls hidden from much of the tennis circuit, but when Venus won every single one of her 63 junior tournaments by age 10, with Serena not far behind, word of the Williams sisters spread. Whatever you become in your head first, their mother preached daily. With their talent grew confidence. At 12, Venus announced she would win Wimbledon. Wimbledon is a tennis competition in England that's like super famous. And everybody always wears white clothes. Very boring. They don't get to wear colors. They have to wear all boring white. In 1994, at 14 years old, Venus played her first professional match at the Bank of the West Classic in California. Tennis critics took notice after the young newcomer's combination shots and her return of serve helped her soar past higher-ranking players and advance to the second round. Overnight, Venus went from an unclassified ranking to number 313 in the world. Your time will come, Venus comforted Serena, sad to not be sharing the spotlight with her sister. When the press surrounded Richard, asking if Venus would be the next number 1 player, Richard smiled. Have you seen my other daughter, Serena, play? Because he knows he has 2 champion daughters. This is my favorite page in the book because she has beads in her hair and she breaks the beads and look, the beads go flying everywhere. I love how that would sound noisy. 1 year later, it was Serena's turn. Within 3 short years, both girls ranked in the top 50. Long-legged, brown-skinned, beaded cornrowed sisters stood out in a sea of white tennis attire, white fans, and white opponents. They dressed as they pleased in their own designs. During matches, they hit so hard, sometimes the rubber bands in their hair broke, scattering beads across the court. Tennis had never seen anything quite like them. They were amazing.
How much clothes do you have left?
A little bit. Many tennis fans cheered the energy and powerful playing of 2 fresh faces in tennis. But sometimes the sisters were threatened, booed, and taunted by others not happy to see them competing in a nearly all-white sport. They'd heard those words years earlier when their father brought in busloads of neighborhood kids to surround the practice courts as they played. "Do your best," he'd told the kids, and paid each and every one to hurl their worst words his daughters might hear during their matches. Now, whenever those same words tumbled from the stands, they fell as flat as secondhand tennis balls. Words and gunshots, hatred and doubt couldn't slow the rise of the two sisters who called themselves the greatest story in tennis. They loved the same bands, laughed at the same jokes, wore the same clothes. Only on the courts were they different. There, Serena was as strong as Venus was fast. Venus was as gracious as Serena was aggressive. Venus's long legs could carry her cross-court in a couple of strides. At 130 miles per hour, her serve broke a world record. Serena chased down every ball, drilling them back to her opponents with high-powered ground strokes. "I hate losing more than I love winning," Serena told reporters. Life on the professional circuit meant traveling to tournaments and trekking as a family across the world to the Australian Open, French Open, Wimbledon in England, and New York City's US Open to compete in one Grand Slam event after the next. Not wanting to be separated during tournaments, the sisters shared hotel rooms, but the crowds loved it when they shared a court. Sister Act, Smash Sisters, Sister Sister, Sister Slam, headlines screamed. Tickets were hard to come by on the days when Venus and Serena were scheduled to play each other. In doubles, knowing each other as well as they did paid off with win after win, but on opposite sides of the court, they were competitors first, sisters second. And look at this. This page is like the cover. At the Australian Open in 1998, Venus and Serena cheered each other as they both advanced, but each win also brought them closer to playing against each other. When they both advanced to the third round, they stood on opposite sides of the court for the very first time. By the way, it's starting to get windy. Did you hear it's going to get windy here tomorrow? I'm just starting to feel the wind. Venus was focused, but Serena, at 16 years old in her first major tournament, was shaky. The match started slowly, each cautiously watching the game unfold against the opponent who knew her best. In their first set, Venus edged ahead after a tiebreak. Serena looked to the player's box where her family sat, quiet for the first time. In the next set, Venus took control. Heads turned from left to right, right to left for a Venus victory, 7-6 and 6-1. Serena was as sad for her loss as she was happy for Venus's win. But then Venus kept winning, match after match, year after year in each of their matchups. "She knows how to beat me and knows my weaknesses better than anyone," Serena said of her big sister. In the year 2000, they traveled to Sydney, Australia for the Olympics and returned home wearing the gold medals they earned together for the United States in doubles. In 2002, they faced each other again in the finals of the French Open. With each round she advanced, Serena pushed aside thoughts of their earlier matches and of Venus's successes. While their family again sat quietly in the stands, Venus served big for the first set and took the lead, but Serena broke serve and won. The second set was hard fought, and the sisters rallied with down-the-line combinations, skidding from sideline to baseline until the final match point when Venus cracked the ball into the net and the moment belonged to Serena. In two sets of 7-5 and 6-3, a victorious Serena stepped out of the shadow of her sister. Venus ran off the court as the curious eyes of the crowd followed her. High into the stands, Venus sprinted, snatched up her bag, and pulled out a camera. "Nothing can keep me from celebrating when my best friend wins a match," Venus said proudly. The crowd stood to applaud, and Venus snapped shot after shot of Serena on the victory stand. Ranked numbers 1 and 2 in the world, Venus now followed Serena. Mika and V, two peas in a pod, best friends and sisters, celebrated being number 1 and 2 in life and in tennis. And here is a picture of them. The top women in tennis. You go, girls. And there they are playing together. And they still play. Even now, they still play. Thank you for listening to my book today, everybody. Tell me if you liked it below or tell me if you liked it tomorrow in class. Have a great weekend. Bye.